Parks Department is proposing to pave a 1.5 million portion of the Putnam Trail. This would double the width of the trail from 8 feet to 16 feet, which in turn would require destruction of many trees and endanger the natural environment of the park. The people behind the Save the Putnam Trail campaign have their own idea in mind: to resurface the trail with stone dust instead of concrete, that they may help in doing so and in preserving the Putnam Trail. Here to tell us more is advocate Mike Oliva. Welcome to the show, Mike.
Thanks for having me, Sylvia.
Welcome.
Yes.
Can you tell me about the Putnam Trail?
Sure. The Putnam Trail, it runs for about 1.5 miles through Cortlandt Park. It starts at the Westchester border, and it runs down to the old railroad station right by Cortlandt Park Golf Course by the parking lot. The Putnam Trail is pretty historic. The old Putt used to be a railroad line, an active, mainly commercial railroad line that ran from the Bronx all the way up through Westchester County.
So what does the paving of this trail mean? I know I've gone to Cortlandt Park and I've had an opportunity to see part of the Putnam Trail. Can you tell me, what does paving this natural environment, this resource, we're supposed to be going green, why are we paving this park or this trail?
And that's a good question, and I haven't heard a good answer to that. Most of the people in the community that I've talked to and our group has talked to has felt the same way you have, that there's no really good reason to expand the width of this trail from 8 to 16 feet, and there really isn't good logic behind paving it. What the Putnam Trail is, right now it exists as an 8-foot wide dirt trail that runs for 1.5 miles. And the current park plans that they unveiled in the beginning of the year would double the width from 8 to 16 feet. And you know, 8 feet, 1.5 miles long, comes out to about 1.5 acres of land. And that's basically an 1.5 acres of trees and other natural environment and ecosystems that would basically have to be destroyed in order for the park's proposed trail to happen. And our position is that we could keep the trail, we could still improve the trail with a stone dust surface, keep it at 8 feet. And the beauty of this is it still serves all the users that are going to use the trail, whether they be cyclists, runners, walkers, and others, wheelchairs, baby strollers, and the multitude of other users that use the park. And it really doesn't shut anybody out. And the beauty of it also is that it saves taxpayers money by not having to maintain an extra 8 feet of trail into infinity.
Do you think the rationale behind making the trail a concrete trail and widening it is so that there's a space, an equal space for cyclists and also runners and walkers?
I would have to say the Parks Department, that has to be their only argument, is that there's going to be such a massive demand that they need 16 feet in order to accommodate all of these users. We just haven't seen the evidence that that demand will be there. And the danger of this, this logic is that, we're not always right. I'm an advocate, and advocates, I'm far from perfect. But the beauty of our position is that if we keep it at 8 feet and improve it with stone dust, and say we're wrong, say in 3 to 5 years from now, we're wrong, we got it all wrong, there's this massive demand, there's these thousands of cyclists that are using this trail, and there's just not enough space, we could sit back, reassess, and expand the width of the trail. But if the Parks Department goes forward with their current plans and they expand the trail, they take out 1.5 acres of trees, they lay over 1 acre of pavement on this beautiful trail, there is no going back. There is no reverse, there is no reassessment. It's done forever. So I think it's good to be, our position is prudent, it's responsible, and there's the potential for expansion in the future, but we just don't see the evidence for the demand that the parks is looking to accommodate with 16 feet of trail.
Can you tell me the communication that your group has had with the New York City Parks Department? Where are we right now?
We haven't had a very direct communication. Our communication has been basically where the community's communication has been. Parks, the plan, they received the funding a number of years ago for this trail, and they finally, we were all in the dark as to their exact plans of what it would look like until a community board meeting that happened earlier in the year. And that's when our group found out about the exact plans, which are 10 feet width of pavement and 3 feet of buffer zone on each side. So for a total of 16 feet. So that's when we became aware of what the park's plans would be.
Did you happen to find out why the Putnam Trail? There are various different areas that we could potentially create a cycling, walking, and running environment here in the Bronx without destroying natural environment. Why the Putnam Trail?
I think they're looking to pave the Putnam Trail because Westchester County, the old Putnam line extended all the way through Westchester County for about 30 miles. And a large portion of that old abandoned rail line was paved in Westchester County. The difference in Westchester County, though, and so the logic of the Parks Department is they wanted to extend that pavement into the Bronx and into New York City. But it's a different situation. Westchester County, the old Putnam line doesn't really run through any historic parks and natural environments. The pavement, they didn't have to clear cut trees, you know, acres of trees to pave the Putnam line in Westchester County. So it's a very different situation. When we're talking about Van Cortlandt Park, and it's only 1.5 miles, and we're talking about destroying a natural environment, it's just a different ballgame here. But I think Park's logic is they want to see that major extension, and they just want continuity of pavement for some reason from Westchester County all the way through the Bronx.
So if people are sitting at home and they're interested in finding out, in signing a petition or joining the advocacy group or even attending one of these community board meetings or contacting the New York City Parks Department, what can they do?
Well, we have a website called SaveThePutnamTrail.com. They could go to that. And we've outlined some steps they can take. You know, we did this too because, you know, Parks Department unveiled their plans, but I'd say a large portion of the community doesn't even know this is happening. And a large portion of the community we've spoken to has said they don't want this. So our thought is, you know, why is the Parks Department and our elected officials doing something that the community is saying, you know, we don't want this. This is our community. We want to keep it natural. We want to keep the trees we have. So what we did was, this campaign is about raising awareness, and so people could go to our website, learn about what's happening, and we've outlined steps they can take to contact their elected officials, so our elected officials could know, you know, that what the community feels. If our elected officials know that a large majority of the community doesn't want this, then they won't do it. I mean, that's what our elected officials are supposed to do. They're supposed to listen to the community and act on our behalf.
And the fact is, the Parks Department's always planting trees, beautifying New York, keeping it green, and here we are cutting down, you know, 1.5 miles of potentially trees, shrubbery, natural environment. So if people are interested in going out to the trail, where can they find the Putnam Trail? If they went into Van Cortlandt Park, where can they see the Putnam Trail? Because I'm sure a lot of people at home would love to walk the trail,
sure,
see what they're interested in saving.
Sure. If you're entering from Broadway, the one subway stops at 242nd Street. It's a great place to enter the park. You could just go due east for, I'd say, a quarter of a mile from 242nd Street, and you come to the Putnam Trail. It runs north to south, and for about a mile and a half. So I'd say that's the best access point. And you know, the Parks Department, let me give them their credit. They have a great website, and they have a lot of good information on there on how to explore the park, and so does the Van Cortlandt Park Conservancy and the Friends of Van Cortlandt Park. So if people really want to explore Van Cortlandt Park, I suggest going to the Friends of Van Cortlandt Park website and the Van Cortlandt Park Conservancy's website. But let me also say too, you know, the Parks Department has a Million Trees campaign, and there's all these initiatives to plant trees and beautify New York City and the Bronx. And you know, for some reason this does run counterintuitive to their plans, but I just want to say that Mayor Bloomberg and the Parks Department, you know, under Commissioner Adrian Benepe, we agree with probably 98% of what they've done with their administration in regards to parks. I mean, they've really supported parks. They've supported, and their staff has supported, you know, beautifying parks and getting people involved and accessing parks and keeping funding for parks. But for some reason, they just got it wrong on this one trail. This is just not the right thing to do. And we hope they see that the community feels the same way, and they act based upon what the community is asking for.
Thank you. And we wish you all the luck with getting the Putnam Trail, finding some kind of resolution with the New York City Parks Department and the elected officials to figuring out this Putnam Trail.
Great. I hope to see you and others out in the trail.
Thank you. Yeah.